Hello and welcome. My name is Alex. I'm 25 years old. And this is not just a story about English. It's a story about transformation. Because 1 year ago, I was just like you, confused, stuck, embarrassed to speak. I used to scroll social media for 4 to 5 hours every day. Not for learning, just wasting time. Memes, gossip, reels that made me laugh but taught me nothing. I knew I needed English, but every time I tried, I failed. I bought grammar books, left them halfway, downloaded apps, uninstalled them after 3 days, watched English videos, but couldn't understand fast speech. And the worst part? I couldn't say even a simple sentence confidently when someone asked, "Can you speak English?" I felt like a loser, like I was behind everyone. Job interviews scared me. Meetings made me silent. I felt small, like I didn't belong in the world that was moving so fast. But then, something hit me. Everything in this world has pros and cons, including social media. It's not about the tool. It's about how you use it. Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, they're not the enemy. They're not good or bad. They're just mirrors. They reflect your choices. You can scroll for 3 hours and feel empty, or scroll for 3 hours and speak better English. That's what changed everything for me. I realized that English is not just a language. It's a power. It's a global key. It doesn't matter how talented you are. If you can't express yourself, you'll stay behind. You could be the smartest person in your city. But if you can't explain your ideas in English, the world won't hear you. You'll miss job opportunities. You'll avoid global conversations. And slowly, you'll accept a small version of yourself. But I wasn't born rich. I couldn't go to an English-speaking country. I had no native speakers around me. So I asked myself, what do I have? And the answer was simple. A phone, an internet connection, and time. That's when I made a promise to myself. I will not run away from social media. I will turn it into my English teacher. And I did. Today I can speak fluently. I can express my thoughts with clarity. I can join meetings, give interviews, and talk to people around the world. Not because I paid for expensive courses, but because I used what I already had, social media, in a smart, focused way. So if you think social media is just for entertainment, let me show you how I used it to change my life. Not just my English, but my confidence, my mindset, my future. In this video, I'll take you through my entire journey, step by step. I'll tell you exactly how I used each platform, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and AI, to go from zero to fluent. No shortcuts, no fake tips, no complicated methods, just my real raw journey. If I can do it, someone who failed multiple times, then trust me, so can you. And by the end of this video, you won't just know how to use social media to learn English. You'll feel ready, you'll feel clear, you'll feel powerful, because English is not a skill, it's a lifestyle. And the world listens to those who can speak it. Let me show you how I did it, and how you can too. All right. Now I'll share with you 10 real ways I used social media to learn English. Not from a book, not from a class, but from my daily life. And today, I'll tell you the first 2. These 2 were my foundation. They were the first steps that pulled me out of my own darkness. 1. I deleted the noise and rebuilt my feed. Let me be honest. I used to open my phone and scroll for hours. But after that, I felt empty. I didn't learn anything. I didn't grow. It was just random reels, dancing videos, relationship gossip, people flexing money, fake drama, and memes I forgot 10 minutes later. One night I was lying on my bed, phone in my hand, and I suddenly felt this tightness in my chest. I wasn't tired from work. I wasn't sad about anything. But I was just disappointed in myself. Like my day was stolen from me. Like time was slipping through my hands, and I was doing nothing to catch it. And that night, I made a decision. If I open this app 100 times a day, then at least let it teach me something. The next morning, I opened my Instagram and started unfollowing. Every page, every profile, every noise that wasn't helping me grow, gone. Friends who only post selfies, gone. Reels pages that just made me laugh and forget life, gone. News pages full of fear and gossip, gone. I was not being rude. I was being honest with my future. Then I started to rebuild my feed like it was my classroom. I didn't look for educational pages only. No, I looked for clarity, simplicity, beauty. Real people using real English. And suddenly, my social media became a river of beautiful English sentences, simple captions, quotes, thoughts, conversations. Let me give you a few examples that I still remember from those days. I read, "You were born to do more than just pay bills and die." I paused. I felt that. I whispered the sentence out loud, slowly, clearly. Another post said, "If it cost you your peace, it's too expensive." That was deep, and I didn't know peace could be used like that. Then I saw, "She believed she could, so she did." That sentence looked simple, but it was powerful. I repeated it again and again. She believed she could, so she did. And this is what I learned. Your brain is always listening, even when you don't notice. Every time I saw a sentence, my brain started catching the rhythm of English. Not grammar rules, not textbook exercises. Just the feel of the language. And because I saw those sentences again and again, they became part of my thinking. They became part of me. After just 2 weeks of seeing only English on my feed, I noticed something amazing. I was reading faster. I was understanding better. And sometimes, without realizing, I was thinking in English. And that was a huge shift. Because once your thinking starts changing, your speaking follows. 2. I watched reels with subtitles. But I didn't just watch. I studied. Let me take you to another day in my journey. I was sitting at a small cafe. My coffee was half cold. My phone was open. And suddenly, I came across this 15-second reel. A woman was standing on stage saying something like, "It doesn't matter how slowly you go, as long as you don't stop." At first, I didn't fully understand. I replayed it. Then I turned on the subtitles and read it again. It doesn't matter how slowly you go, as long as you don't stop. And it hit me. This is real English, real speech, real power, not from a teacher, not from a textbook, but from a moment. Short, but unforgettable. That day, I created a rule for myself. Every reel I watch in English, I will watch it at least 3 times with subtitles on. Here's what I started doing, and maybe it can help you too. Find a short English reel. Could be motivation, story, scene, quote, joke. Watch it once without thinking too much. Watch again with subtitles. Read every word. Pause it sentence by sentence. Repeat the lines out loud, like I was the one saying it. Try to understand the emotion behind the words. Think, can I use this sentence in real life? Save it in a folder called Learn. Let me show you how this helped me grow. There was a reel that said, "I'm tired, but I'm not quitting." When I saw it, I felt it, because that was me. Tired, but not quitting. I said it out loud 10 times. I'm tired, but I'm not quitting. I'm tired, but I'm not quitting. The next time I felt low, those words came out of me naturally, in English, not because I memorized them, but because I had lived with them. Another reel said, "Your future self is watching you right now, through your own eyes." I paused for 5 minutes after that. It wasn't just about English anymore. It was about life. But English gave me the key to understand it. After I cleaned my feed, after I started watching reels with subtitles and studying the rhythm of real English, something inside me changed. I was no longer just a silent learner. I started feeling like, I want to use this language. I want to try, even if I make mistakes. I want to speak. I want to write. I want to feel free. So I took the next step. And that changed everything. 3. I started commenting in English every single day. Let me ask you something. Have you ever read an Instagram caption and wanted to reply but stopped yourself because you were scared of grammar mistakes? That was me. Every time I wanted to write a comment, I froze. I would type, then delete it. Type again. Backspace. Close the app. Why? Because I thought people would judge me. But one day, I read something that hit me like thunder. If you are not embarrassed by your first English sentence, you waited too long to start. I felt it deep in my bones. That night, I made a promise. From today, I will comment in English, every day. No matter how bad it is, no matter how afraid I feel, I will show up. So the next morning, I opened Instagram. I saw a motivational post that said, "Keep going, one day at a time." And I wrote in the comment box, "I needed this today. Thank you, that's it, just one sentence." But the moment I clicked post, I felt like I had crossed a mountain. I thought someone would laugh, but instead, the person replied, "You're welcome, stay strong." That comment gave me confidence, not because it was perfect, but because I tried. And that became my daily ritual. I made a rule for myself. One meaningful comment per day, in English. Doesn't have to be perfect, just has to be real. Sometimes I wrote, "This quote really touched my heart. I'm learning English. This reel helped me a lot. Can you please tell me what resilience means?" And here's what happened. Every comment became a mini practice session. I was writing without fear. I was building sentences without grammar pressure. And most importantly, I was participating. No one teaches you this in school. Writing one real sentence in public is more powerful than reading 100 fake ones in a book. Because it makes you brave. It makes you part of the conversation. And it helps you understand how real people talk. After 30 days, I had written over 30 English comments. Not long essays, just short, honest replies. And every single one made me stronger. So if you're watching this right now and thinking, "But what if I make mistakes?" Let me tell you something. Mistakes are not your enemy. Fear is. Mistakes are teachers. But fear is a thief. It steals your progress. So go on, write that comment, even one sentence a day. Because action builds fluency, not perfection. 4. I changed my phone language to English, and that rewired my brain. This step sounds small, but it changed something deep inside me. Let me tell you a story. I remember one day I was trying to open my gallery and suddenly my phone asked, "Allow access to media files?" Before, it used to say that in my native language. I never even thought about it. But now, when I saw it in English, I paused. Allow access to media files. I read it slowly. I understood each word. I said it out loud. Allow access to media, files. And in that moment, I realized my phone is not just a device, it's a school. So I did something bold. I went into my settings, and I changed my entire phone language to English. Everything. The menus, the notifications, the settings, the gallery, the calendar, even my alarm clock. At first I was scared. I thought, what if I get confused? What if I can't find anything? But guess what? That confusion lasted just 2 days. After that, my eyes got trained. Every time I opened settings, I read battery, notifications, permissions, storage, app info. Every time I received a message, Nahi, I read new message, call declined, mark as read. And I started learning real-life vocabulary, not from a list, but from my life. Mute notification. I learned what it meant when I got tired of group chats. Snooze alarm. I saw it every morning and understood what it really meant. Clear cache. It sounded technical, but now I know how to say it fluently. And the best part? I stopped translating in my head. Before, I used to think in my native language and translate into English. Now, because I was seeing English everywhere, my brain started thinking in English directly. It was like my mind was finally breathing in this new language, freely, naturally. Let me ask you something. How often do you open your phone every day? 50 times? That means 200 English lessons a day. If your phone is in English. So, here's what I say. Don't just learn English. Live inside it. Make your phone your teacher. Let English be the air you breathe. I know it sounds intense, but I promise you, it works. That one decision, to change my phone language, made English feel like a part of my daily life. Not something I had to study, but something I was now living with. And that's how learning becomes effortless. When I started writing in comments, when I changed my phone's language, I wasn't just learning English anymore. I was becoming someone new. Someone who was no longer afraid. Someone who didn't wait for the perfect moment. Someone who created his own path, using what he already had. Social media didn't just teach me English. It gave me my voice. And the more I used it, the more I understood what English could truly give me. The ability to express myself. The power to connect with people from anywhere in the world. The freedom to grow no matter where I was. 5. I practiced speaking using stories and voice notes, even when I was alone. You know what's funny? The moment I understood English better, the moment I started writing a little, everyone started asking, "Can you speak now?" And my answer was, "Not really." I had words in my mind, but when I opened my mouth, nothing came out. It was like my brain forgot everything. And that's when I realized something. Learning English is one thing. Speaking English is a whole different battle. And that's the part nobody talks about. So I asked myself a big question. How do I start speaking English when I have no one to speak with? No teacher, no native speaker, no friend who speaks English fluently. I could have given up, but instead, I created my own way. And it started with one small habit that became my daily game changer. I call it the story game. Here's what I did. Every day, I chose one simple thing from my life. It could be a memory, a task, a dream, or a thought. And I spoke about it in English. Not perfect English, just my version. But here's the twist. I didn't just think it. I recorded myself. Yes, using the voice recorder app on my phone. Let me take you back to one of those first moments. I was sitting on my bed. I had just finished breakfast. and I opened my recorder and said, "Hello. Today I want to speak about the first time I cooked something alone. I was 16. My mom was not home. I was hungry. So I tried to make an omelet, but I broke the egg wrong, and the whole kitchen was messy. I was smiling as I spoke. I was laughing at my own grammar mistakes. But for the first time, I felt my voice in English. That recording was just 1 minute long, but it gave me more progress than 1 hour of reading. And then it became a routine. I recorded what I did today, what I want to achieve in life, a book I read, why I felt sad last week, what I saw outside the window, a dream I had. Some recordings were 30 seconds, some were 5 minutes. And over time, I began to notice something powerful. My fear started melting. My words started flowing. My tongue stopped freezing. I wasn't trying to be perfect. I was just speaking freely, honestly, boldly. Let me tell you this. You don't need a partner to start speaking English. You just need your voice and a little courage to hear it. Because every voice note is a mirror. You hear your speed, you notice your mistakes, you catch your habits, and you grow. Silently, deeply, beautifully. Today, I still keep those recordings, and when I listen to the old ones, I cry sometimes, because I can hear my progress, not just in English, but in confidence. So here's what I say to anyone who feels alone. Start speaking to your phone. Make it your best friend. Speak 1 minute a day. Tell a story. Talk to your future self. Let your voice become your classroom. You don't need applause. You don't need likes. You just need your voice and the courage to use it. That was one of the biggest turning points in my journey. 6. I created a private English world and visited it daily. Let me ask you something deeply honest. When was the last time you felt like your phone was supporting your dream, not distracting you from it? I asked myself that question a year ago, and my answer was never. I used my phone every day, but it wasn't helping me, it was controlling me. So I decided, if I'm going to spend hours with this device, then I will build a private world inside it. A world that speaks only one language, English. And that's what I did. I created a digital space inside my phone where everything was designed to make me grow in English. Let me tell you exactly how I built it. I created a private folder called My English World. This folder had a notes app where I wrote 1 sentence a day, screenshots of good English captions I liked, a list of words I heard and wanted to use later, short diary entries about my day, written in English, my voice recordings from the story game. Every time I opened that folder, it felt personal. It wasn't for school, it wasn't for a teacher. It was just for me. A safe space, a secret world, where I could make mistakes, where I could be myself, where I could see how far I've come. I set my lock screen to an English quote. Yes, this sounds small, but it was powerful. Every time I picked up my phone, I saw words like, "The only way to learn a language is to live inside it." Say it badly, but say it anyway. You don't need to be perfect. You need to be consistent. It reminded me of my mission. And slowly, English stopped feeling like a subject. It started feeling like a part of my life. I followed English pages and turned on notifications, but only the ones that gave me peace, power, and clarity. So instead of seeing stress on my screen, I saw words like, "You are becoming the person you were meant to be. Your words shape your world. Choose them well. Your voice matters. Say it." And I whispered those sentences aloud. I practiced saying them with rhythm, with feeling, and that made me believe more in myself. I made my keyboard English only. This forced me to type everything in English, even searches, even messages to myself.
At first, it slowed me down. But after a while, it became natural. I stopped switching languages. I stopped using translation. I began thinking in English by default, and every small step added up. This English world on my phone became my secret classroom. No teachers, no judgment, no schedule. Just me and my dream.
Some days I visited it for 5 minutes, some days for 30. But every time I opened it, I grew a little more. 7. I joined global English groups and started talking to strangers. By now, I was reading more. I was writing short things. I was recording myself. I had created this safe, beautiful world on my phone. But still, something was missing. I was safe, yes. But I was also alone. I realized I had been learning English in isolation. It was time to do something harder, something uncomfortable. Talk to people. Now let me be clear. This was the scariest step, because speaking in public, especially with strangers, felt terrifying. But deep inside, I knew this. If you only practice English with yourself, you'll stay safe, but you won't grow fully. So I did something bold. One night I opened Facebook and typed in the search bar, English Learners Group. I saw hundreds of groups. Some were public, some private. Some had 10,000 people. Some had 500,000. People from Nigeria, Brazil, Indonesia, Pakistan, Philippines, Egypt, France, Kenya, Ukraine, Mexico, everywhere. And I realized, I'm not alone in this journey. There are millions of people just like me, learning English, struggling, trying. That made me feel stronger. So I joined a few of those groups. And here's what I did next. Step by step. Step 1. I watched first. I listened silently. I didn't post anything on day 1. I just watched. People were posting things like, can someone explain the difference between say and tell? Please correct this sentence. I am go to market yesterday. Hello from Morocco. I'm practicing English. Who wants to talk? I spent 2 days just reading. And in those 2 days, I learned more than I expected. I saw real mistakes. I saw kind people helping each other. And I saw something else. Nobody was perfect, and nobody cared. People were trying. That was enough. And that gave me courage. Step 2. I posted my first English question. Yes, I was nervous. My hands were sweating. But I posted something simple. Hi everyone, I'm Alex. I've been learning English alone. Can you share your favorite way to improve speaking? I thought no one would reply. But within 10 minutes, 17 people commented. From Egypt, from Sudan, from Brazil, from Turkey, from Vietnam. And every person gave me something. One said, talk to yourself. Another said, read English stories aloud. One girl said, try shadowing videos. But the most beautiful part? Every comment ended with, greater than, don't give up. You're doing great. Keep going, Alex. It didn't feel like a group. It felt like a family. That's when I realized. Language is not about rules. It's about connection. It's about humans helping humans. From that day forward, I became active. I commented to help others. I corrected grammar politely. I posted my doubts. I even shared short audio clips saying, hey guys, I practiced this sentence today. How's my pronunciation? People replied. They supported me. They gave me tips. They gave me belonging. Even though I had never met them in real life, they became my tribe. Let me say this clearly to anyone watching. If you're learning English in silence, that's okay, but don't stay there forever. Go out, join a group, post one thing, help one person, because English becomes real when it meets other people. That was the 7th step in my journey, and it made my learning come alive. 8. I used AI to practice conversations, like a private speaking coach. There was a time I wanted to quit. I was tired of talking to myself. I had no one to correct me, no one to reply, no one to challenge me. I wished I had a teacher, but I couldn't afford one. I wished I had a partner, but no one around me spoke fluent English. That's when I discovered something that changed my entire game. Artificial intelligence. Yes, AI. I'm not talking about science fiction. I'm talking about a tool that became my personal speaking partner, 24/7. Let me tell you how I used it. Step 1. I opened the chat app and pretended it was a person. At first I was shy, even with AI, but I typed, "Hello, I'm trying to improve my English. Can we chat like normal people?" And it replied, "Of course. I'd love to help. How was your day?" That simple sentence gave me hope. I typed back, "My day was okay. I worked, I cooked, I listened to English video." The AI replied with corrections, softly. "Nice. Just a small thing. Instead of video, say videos because it's more than one." Boom. A lesson, but without pressure. That's when I knew. This isn't just an app. This is a teacher, a mirror, a friend. Step 2. I practiced real situations, like role plays. I told the AI, "Let's pretend I'm in a job interview. You be the interviewer." And it said, "Great, let's start. Tell me about yourself." I got nervous, even though it was a robot. But I typed, "My name is Alex. I'm from Germany. I love to learn and grow." It replied, "Nice start. Try this. My name is Alex. I'm from Germany. I love learning and growing." Every reply was like a mini class, but it felt like a conversation. Sometimes I asked, "Can you be a friend at a coffee shop? Can you correct me like a teacher? Can you ask me 5 questions about travel?" And the AI always said, "Sure, let's do it. No judgment, no rush, no cost, just real practice." Step 3. I used AI to build my confidence. There were days I felt down, days I felt like I was going nowhere. So I typed, "I'm feeling like I'll never speak English fluently." And the AI replied, "It's okay to feel that way, but you've come so far already. Keep going." And I cried, because I didn't expect comfort. I didn't expect motivation. But I got it from a machine, from something that understood me when I needed it most. Let me say this loud and clear. You don't need a human to start speaking. You need consistency. You need courage. And you need a mirror, even if that mirror is artificial. AI became my safe place to practice, to experiment, to fail, to grow. And it never laughed at me, never judged, only guided. Even today, I sometimes open it and say, "Let's talk about failure. Let's have a small debate. Let's play a vocabulary game. Let's speak like I'm meeting you at the airport." The possibilities are endless. So if you have access to AI, use it. Use it as your coach. Use it as your partner. Use it as your playground. Because every reply is a step toward fluency. Every correction is a gift. Every sentence is a victory. 9. I started writing my life in English and found a voice I never knew I had. One night, something strange happened. I was alone in my room. The lights were off. Only the soft glow of my screen lit up the darkness. I had just finished watching an emotional video in English, and I felt something inside me. a storm, 1,000 thoughts. But I didn't want to record. I didn't want to talk. I wanted to write, not for grammar, not for marks, not for practice, but to release something that was locked inside my heart. So I opened a blank note, and I typed slowly. Sometimes I feel like I'm behind in life, like the world is running and I'm just walking with broken shoes. But today I learned a new sentence. And maybe tomorrow I will speak it to someone who needs it. That gives me peace. That was the first time in my life that I wrote a diary entry in English. And I cried. Not because it was perfect, but because it was real. After that night, I started doing it regularly, not daily, but whenever I needed to talk to myself, to express my fears, my small wins, my confusion, my questions. I started writing about everything. A fight with my father, my dream job, the day I didn't feel good enough, the moment I felt proud of myself, a stranger who smiled at me. All of it. In English. And something magical started to happen. The more I wrote, the more I healed. The more I healed, the more I grew. The more I grew, the more my English became mine. Not borrowed from a textbook, not copied from a YouTube video, but born from my soul. Here's what I realized. When you write your truth in English, the language becomes your friend. It stops being scary. It becomes your journal, your mirror, your quiet, loyal companion. And that's when I truly found my voice. Let me tell you something. Most people think English is about speaking fluently. But the deepest transformation happens when you write with honesty. Because writing teaches you how to think clearly, and clear thinking leads to clear speaking. My advice? Start a life journal in English. Don't worry about spelling. Don't worry about perfection. Just write, like your future self is listening. Because one day, you'll look back at those entries and realize, that's the moment I found myself. 10. I used English to inspire others, and it gave my life a new meaning. Now this. This is the part I never imagined, because when I first started learning English, I was doing it for survival. I wanted to pass interviews, get a better job, sound smart, feel confident. But something happened that changed everything. I stopped learning English only for myself and started using it to lift others. Let me tell you what I mean. One day I got a message from someone in one of the English groups I had joined. It said, "Hi Alex, I saw your comment. I'm struggling too. Can we talk?" That message changed my life. Because for the first time, someone saw me as a guide. We started chatting. They told me how afraid they were to speak, how they froze when people laughed, how they tried so hard but always felt behind. And I wrote back, "You're not behind. You're just blooming in silence. And when your English blooms, it'll be beautiful, because it grew from struggle." They replied with a voice note, crying. They said, "No one ever said that to me before." And that's when I knew. My pain had become my power. My weakness had become someone else's strength. After that, I started sharing short posts online. Nothing fancy, just thoughts. Don't wait for perfect English. Use what you have. It's enough. Fluency comes from courage, not grammar. Your first sentence may be broken, but your message is still beautiful. I didn't expect anyone to notice, but they did. People messaged me. People thanked me. People told me, "Alex, because of you, I started speaking." And that's when everything changed. I was no longer just a learner. I was now a giver, a helper, a light for others still in the dark. Let me say this to you, the person watching this video right now. English is not just a skill. It's a tool to carry your story, your message, your purpose. And the more you use it to help someone else, the stronger it becomes inside you. That's the final secret I discovered. When I started helping others, my fluency became faster, my confidence became deeper, and my journey became meaningful. So here I am, 1 year later, from a boy who scrolled memes all day and said nothing, to a man who now speaks English, not perfectly, but powerfully. Because now I speak with my heart, I speak with my truth, and I speak to lift others. Let me tell you how English changed my life. I started getting job offers from companies in other countries. I finally passed interviews where I used to freeze. I joined international communities and made friends from 12 different countries. I spoke on a live Zoom session in front of 100 people and didn't panic. I helped 3 other people begin their English journey, and they're still going. But more than all that, I look in the mirror now, and I like who I've become. Because I kept going, I kept growing, and I never gave up. That's what English gave me. Not just words, not just grammar, but freedom, a new identity, a new life. So, to the one watching this, if you've ever felt behind, if you've ever felt ashamed of your broken English, if you've ever felt like you'll never get there, let me tell you something. You will. Not by magic, not by overnight success, but by small steps done every day. Use your phone wisely. Speak your truth, even if your voice shakes. Write your fears in English. Help someone else learn. And never, never stop believing in yourself. Because your voice matters, and the world needs to hear it. And when you speak in English, you don't just speak in a new language. You speak to the world. This was my journey. Not a perfect journey, but a real one. And if you walk with me, step by step, one day you'll look back and say, English didn't just change how I talk. It changed who I am. So my friend, if you felt something in your heart today, if this story opened your eyes, then don't stop here. Start your journey today. Use social media with purpose. Speak, write, grow, even if it's slow. Stop watching reels like entertainment. Start using them like vitamins for your brain. Don't scroll mindlessly. Scroll with intention. Study the subtitles. Repeat the rhythm. Feel the language. And save the ones that move you. If you do this for 10 to 15 minutes every day, you'll start recognizing expressions. You'll start hearing your own voice become smoother, and your confidence will grow. Without pressure, without fear. Because the more you hear real English, the more natural it becomes inside you. I know this because that's how I began. Because one day your broken English will become your beautiful voice. And that voice will change your life. Subscribe now. If you want more stories, more guidance, and more power for your English journey. This is not just a channel. This is a family. And we're growing together, step by step. See you tomorrow. And remember, your English is your power. Use it.